Well, hi everyone. Welcome to the 30 Goals Conference, and we have an inspiring keynote speaker for you today, Sarah Thomas. And although you've seen her present many times, probably because she's always sharing her knowledge, you'd be surprised that this is her first keynote. So let's show her a lot of support. I know she's going to be fantastic. Sarah, you travel so much, so where are you?
Right now, I am home. So I am in Virginia, and I work in Maryland, but I just came back from Indiana yesterday. So I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, we're excited to have you. While she's getting her screen together, I'm going to tell you a little about Sarah. Sarah, I happen to have the privilege of presenting with her at ISTE. She kind of jumped in, and it was a fantastic presentation. She is a Google certified teacher and Emoto certified as well, the leader of the Washington, D.C. Google Educator Group, founder of the EduMatch project, and was the head of the Passion Pitch event, which was incredible. She's a middle school English and technology teacher at Maya Angelou French Immersion School. She's the winner of the 2014 Digital Innovation and Learning Award and was named recently by the National School Board Association as one of the 20 to watch, which is a really big honor. So I'm going to let her inspire you.
Thank you so much, Shelley, for that wonderful introduction. So as Shelley stated, that my name is Sarah Thomas, and I am an English teacher as well as a tech teacher for middle school students in Temple Hills, Maryland, and I'm also a doctoral candidate at George Mason University. In addition to this is my baby right here, the EduMatch project. So I founded the EduMatch project, and the goal is to facilitate global collaboration between teachers along similar areas of interest. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that today, but we're also, the main goal for today is that we're going to be talking about CPR for the drowning educator. There's three components to CPR. There's collaboration, passion, and reinvention. And at the end, hopefully you find yourself in this intersection right here. So that's where we want to end up. So before I go to the next slide, I just want y'all to think of one word to describe yourself. If I was going to say, boil down your essence to just one word, then what would that word be? Think for a second. I'm going to sing the Jeopardy theme song, or maybe not. But, all right, do you have your word? I'm going to show you all my words. So I'm gonna get to this next slide right here. My word is chicken. And I'm going to explain this a little bit because much to my older brother's delight when we were kids, I had many phobias. For example, I'm afraid of heights, I'm afraid of snakes, I'm afraid of spiders. I used to be afraid of my brother picking me up and putting my feet on the ceiling when I was a baby. I also have some kind of weird irrational fear of Ronald McDonald, but my biggest two fears in my life have been flying and failure. So I've been afraid to fail for a good majority of my life. I was afraid to take risks, even in my classroom towards the early part of my career, because I've been in a couple of different schools, and the cultures have been different in different places. So in some schools, then risk-taking was discouraged. However, in my current school, I have to say that my administrator, who was there when I met her in 2008, she completely changed my life and helped me to see the power in taking risks for the best opportunity for our students. So big shout out to her. I'm going to talk a little bit about her a little later on. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and get into ways that have gotten me past my chickenness, the CPR method. So before I go to the next slide, I just want you to brace yourself. The next slide has a very disturbing image. It's the face of a chicken, and trust me, it's not pretty. You see that right there? That was when I tried to get over my fear of flying by actually doing an immersion method and throwing myself out of a plane. So sometimes we need to face our fears head on. This was probably the worst way possible to try to get over a fear. Facing your fears can be scary, but literally we have millions of other teachers out there to help us. Look at this picture right here. Now, I'm just going to draw your attention. This was my skydiving instructor, and she was extremely patient. And I could have never done this without her. It wasn't me jumping out of a plane. It was more so her pushing me out of a plane because she was strapped to my back. So this was a great example of collaboration to help get over this fear of skydiving. Now let's bring it back to the classroom, what we're here for. Our PLN is the same way because our PLN stands for Personalized Learning Network or Professional Learning Network, whichever one works best for you. For me, it's a little bit of a mix of the both. So we really need to build this network so that we can collaborate with other educators. And in a few slides, we're going to talk about ways that we do that through EduMatch. But I'm going to take you right now to a few minutes before this very ugly picture was taken. So this photo right here, it shows someone who has just discovered her passion for solid ground. Passion pretty much means what you live for, what excites you. And this was taken a few minutes before jumping. So what we need to do as educators is figure out what we love and share that passion with our students. For me, I have many different passions, for example, music, writing, video games, playing sports, and we incorporate little bits and pieces of all of that, as well as the passions of my students in the classroom. Let me give you an example that kind of ties a lot of these elements together. Last year, I was our school's basketball coach. So what we did in my classroom, since probably most of my students were into basketball or sports, then we gamified the class, so thereby bringing in interest in video games. We actually created a video game out of the class. So gamification has definitely been one of my big passions. So the class gamification had a basketball theme. So we broke it down into squads of 5 or 6 players. We had a draft day. So it was really, really cool. And in addition to that, then we incorporated a lot of PBL, project-based learning, passion-based learning, whatever acronym you want to substitute for the P. But we did a lot of we incorporated our passions a lot, and we had some students do some fantastic, amazing things. Like, for example, we had a young lady who did a short film, and it was so high caliber that I can't even believe it came from an 8th grade student. It was something that I couldn't have done, definitely not in 8th grade. Probably towards the end of college would have been like my equivalency on that. So yeah, so definitely incorporating students' passions. Now, all of this passion is well and good, but one of the most important pieces is reinvention. So here's a spoiler alert. I'm still afraid to fly, but I've flown at least 8 times in the past 3 weeks. I know, it's crazy, right? As Shelly was saying, then I do travel a lot, and I actually wrote this part of the presentation from a plane, so it's crazy. So this is still the face of a chicken, but it's a better chicken, a braver chicken. So as teachers, we don't have to change who we are. We just have to seek to improve, as obviously we're all doing by being here today. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing. We all have a story to tell, and we can learn so much from each other. So I'm going to quote Don Wettrick, who is an awesome, awesome educator. I read something by him saying that you could teach for 20 years, just don't teach the same year 20 times. And this is what reinvention boils down to. So once you create this great network of other educators through the collaboration, through building your PLN, then you get so many ideas. It's just been amazing. This is my 11th year that I'm going into for teaching, and I swear every year has been different, but I have grown so much in the last 2.5 years from being connected. So it's insane. So now you know the elements of CPR. So I'm going to break it down now as to why EduMatch. Why EduMatch? If you're familiar with Synapse Golden Circle, then he implies that the why is the most important part of a message. So here's my Twitter bio right here, and as you can see, I am passionate about connections. So being connected has totally changed my life. It's been amazing and quite a journey. Everybody has a story to tell. So by sharing these stories for better or worse, then we gain a broader perspective. I would love to hear your story, and I would advise you right now, if you're following along, then go ahead and use the chat wing and share your experiences, or we can connect on Twitter or Voxer or wherever, Google Plus. I would love, love, love to hear your stories. I'm like a huge storyteller and a huge story receiver. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you mine. And as you can see right here, our stories are not always smooth sailing. I'm going to go ahead and take you backwards in time by referencing one of my favorite movies, Memento. I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's really cool the way that they have it structured with a lot of backwards storytelling. So I'm going to take you on a trip back in time. And we're going to start off with today, July 19th, 2015. So as Shelly told you, this is my first keynote presentation ever on the topic of CPR for the drowning teacher. So just wanted to take a second to thank all of you for tuning in, and I wanted to thank Shelly and the 30 Goals team for this awesome, awesome opportunity. So today, July 19th, 2015, is also the seventh episode of EduMatch Tweet and Talk. Now, EduMatch is a project that became more than a community of educators. It's now a large family of over 7,000 educators. So we use the following tools to connect educators. We use Google Forms, which we have embedded on our website, and people go in and fill it out, and we tweet out things about them over a 24-hour period. We also use Twitter, and we do a Twitter chat, a tweet and talk, Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also do Voxer. We have, I lost count, but I think around 120 people involved in our Voxer group, and we share ideas together. There's educators from all over the world. We have people from the U.S., from Canada, from Rio de Janeiro. We have people from the Philippines. We have somebody who just moved to Singapore yesterday. So there's people from all over the world who just have some great ideas, and we share them. We also do blogging. Once people sign up on the Voxer form, then we get the link to their blog, and if they have an RSS feed in their blog, then what we do is auto retweet it so that it hits our entire network of educators. In addition, we've started doing guest blog posts. We've had 3 so far since we opened this up, I believe 2 weeks ago. So there have been some great guest blog posts. If you're interested, then please feel free to contact me. I'll give you all my information at the end. And we also do Google Hangouts and podcasting for our Tweet and Talk. So these are all tools that we use to connect educators. But the important part is not the tools. It's the discussion that's being held. It's the connections being made. So let me just take you back a little further now. On the 26th of September 2014, had a random thought as I was talking on Voxer with one of my good friends, Franz Davis. So we were chatting about math. I'm an English person, but she's a math person, and she was mentioning some stuff about gamification in math. And I said, yeah, you know, that's a great idea. One of my cousins used to be a math teacher in New York, and we were just chatting a lot about gamification over the summer. So it would be great if you guys, you know, got in contact and talked about it. And then I started thinking, I'm just like, well, does something like this exist on a broader scale that just kind of connects educators to get them to talk and have these conversations about things that they're passionate about? And I looked, and in my searching, I couldn't find anything. So I was just like, okay, let me just go ahead and set up this Twitter account, and let's see what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So as you can see right there, on the 26th of September 2014 at 11:15 p.m., EduMatch was born. This was an example of moonshot thinking, which pretty much boils down to what would happen if you're not afraid to fail. Now, this idea of moonshot thinking, I'd found out about it a couple months before at Google Teacher Academy, which was held in Atlanta on the 24th and the 25th of June. A lot of these great people in this picture have just been such great collaborators. I'm so happy to know them all. For example, I don't know if y'all can see my mouse, but picture's a little fuzzy. This guy right here, Chris Aviles, he does so much gamification stuff, and just, oh my gosh, he's taught me so much in terms of gamification. Google Teacher Academy, my whole application to Google Teacher Academy was ironically also moonshot thinking without me even really knowing what moonshot thinking was. I figured that there was nothing to lose and that I might as well do it. Like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I figured there was no chance in HE double hockey sticks that it would pan out. But like they say, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And taking this one shot has changed my life. Now, I wouldn't have heard about this opportunity had it not been a member of my personal learning network, my PLN, Dr. Will, who I met on Twitter, just like how I met Shelly on Twitter. So this Twitter account, taking you back even further now, this was created a little bit about a year before I submitted my application to Google Teacher Academy. I created it on the 23rd of April, 2013. I'd been on Twitter prior to that, but it was a more so personal account. I was doing the things that people stereotypically think of when they think of Twitter before they start using it for educational purposes. I was following like Flavor Flav and things of that nature. But when I was at this conference and they displayed the hashtag, I was saying, well, you know, I have this private account, but I really want something that I can make public that's for professional purposes. So let me go ahead and sign up for Twitter, and then I can share publicly along this hashtag and connect with these other people in the room. So that one decision changed my life. You never know what's going to happen in one moment. So so from there, I just kind of dove in headfirst with Twitter chats and things of that nature. And I started seeing opportunities for calls for presenters. And so the opportunity came. Again, moonshot thinking. I jumped on it thinking that there's no way that this is going to work. And then when I was actually accepted to present somewhere, I was just like, oh my goodness, what do I do now? So it took a lot of going back and forth in my mind. Should I do this? Should I not do it? But eventually, with the support of my family, I went for it. So that was definitely something that changed my life. So prior to being connected, life was still good, even though connecting really made it great. Now, in August 2008, I started working at this building, and since that time, we've moved to a different building. But I met someone who I referenced a little earlier, my principal, the principal from John Hanson French Immersion School, Dr. Liziana Sama. She changed my life tremendously because she had a leadership style which encouraged leadership from the staff. She would find the strengths of everyone who was on the staff and use them to help us become our best. So that was just super duper empowering to me, and that was what made the change for me professionally. Now I'm going to take you back. To my prior experience, because this was kind of a different mindset. Like I said before, I'd been in several different schools. So back in September 2004, then I began teaching. I began teaching actually in August 2004. But in September 2004, then I was just kind of finding my way into the classroom, and I was told by someone, "Hey, teaching might not be your calling." Now, mind you, I'd been in the classroom for 2 weeks, and I went through an alternative certification program that was started at Howard University, where I graduated with my bachelor's in 2003 in radio, TV, and film. So I worked for 1 year in that field, but I went back to graduate school for intercultural communications. I saw a flyer posted on the wall one day for a transition to teaching program, and I jumped at the opportunity because I remembered, like, back when I was a kid, hey, all I wanted to do was be a teacher. Teacher this, teacher that. I even wrote a story about wanting to be a teacher. So I'd been seeing, like, different sub-opportunities and had been trying to go for those through undergrad. So I was so super excited when I was accepted into that cohort. And I was just kind of heartbroken when someone told me that it wasn't my calling. No one can tell you your calling. The only person who knows your calling and who knows where you want to go is yourself. So I was unfairly labeled that day, but I've channeled that into a drive to be the best that I can be for myself and for my students. I'm no stranger to labels, because many years before that day, then some of my teachers might have labeled me as a bad student. But I felt that a lot of people didn't reach out to find out why. I felt like I was drowning a lot as an adolescent. I felt really isolated in my community, and that I didn't really have a place. And I blogged about that a lot of times because there were many factors that contributed to that, like growing up outside of the dominant culture and things of that nature. So this punctuation mark right here has been gaining a lot of attention over the past couple weeks. And it's a semicolon, and writers can choose to end a sentence with a period. Some choose a semicolon. The same can be said for life. So wanted to take a second to thank Joe Mazza, Rafrance Davis, Nick Provenzano, and other people who have kind of made people aware that there's an ocean, and a lot of people kind of find themselves drowning. So I just wanted to thank my family and my teachers who have been my lifeguards many, many times. So knowing that I'm not the only one in the ocean has made all the difference in the world. So as educators, part of what we need to do is to stop labeling people and start connecting with other educators, other students. We need to open our minds and our hearts. And we need to realize that sometimes when students aren't performing, then they might be going through something very real. They might need us to be our lifeguards. So we have to definitely reach out to make that connection. So that's been a little bit of my story. And this story definitely has a happy ending. Right now, I feel like I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I'm blessed with the opportunity to talk with y'all today, and it's a testimony to the power of connection in my personal and professional life. So I just wanted to encourage you all to continue connecting on Chatwing, continue connecting on Twitter, Voxer, whatever you choose to use, face-to-face. Connect with the people in your building. The people around you can be your lifeguards. We're not alone in the sea, and we don't have to feel like we're drowning if we choose not to. With over 7 billion people in the world, then we're each only a dot if you take a look at a map. But we start making a beautiful picture when we begin to connect with each other. So this has been my story, why I'm so passionate about connecting. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for your time. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Shelly with any questions.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. That was awesome. Rose, did you want to? I'm sure there was plenty of comments and there was plenty of questions as well. And maybe you can even read some of the things that Sarah said to put in the chat wing as well. I really loved what you said, the quote about we're each dots, but then together we make a beautiful picture. I thought that was really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
That was really great, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
In chat wing, everybody was so excited and really liked the things you said and made some comments. We don't really have any questions at this moment, but I liked the comments. For example, Maria Jana said that we can identify actually with what you said in the beginning with the fear of failure. And I was thinking when I read that the opposite of failure is actually success, and Mariana said that. There were a lot of wonderful comments, and everybody was really engaged during your presentation, and it was really great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, Shelley?
And we'll end with that. Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. And it's been such an honor to be able to work with you and collaborate. You're just amazing. I don't even know how you do everything.
Oh, thank you so much. And same here. Same here. You are definitely a rock star. Like, you need an S for your shirt.